issues, events, and interviews with the people who make Sonoma County great, like you. Sonoma County Focus.
This is Sonoma County Focus. Good morning. My name is Michelle Marquis, and today we're going to talk about the Cotati-Rohnert Park School District. In studio with me is Dr. Robert Haley, the superintendent. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here today.
We have Jennifer Wildermuth. She is a member of the school board. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. And also Amy Carter, who is the new Rancho Cotati High School principal. Hi, Amy.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
So let's sort of start the conversation about the school district itself. I think I met you right when you had started and had become the new superintendent back in 2012. So congratulations for still being here and doing well and doing great things with the school district. How are things going?
Things are going great. Yeah, it's interesting to reflect back on that interview. I'd have to search and see if there's a transcript somewhere and
I think I probably
compare
still have
what's
it somewhere,
happened over the last 3 or 3.5 years
Sure.
to what we thought might happen back then. But things are going great. Our school district really is on an upswing and planning for the future and more students. And I think hand in hand with the community of Rohnert Park and the community of Cotati and new housing coming in and a lot of energy and new families. So it's a very exciting time.
Now, we have had a couple of measures pass in between the time that you joined the Cotati-Rohnert Park School District. What have those done for your school district?
Well, with us here, our school board president, Jennifer Wildermuth, and looking back to that time just a few years ago, our district was in trouble. The state had imposed a lot of budget cuts on us, and we knew that we needed to stabilize our program. We had kids to educate, and they had needs. And so that resulted in us putting a measure before the voters in June of 2012 called Measure D. And Jennifer Wildermuth, along with Susan Adams, was co-chair of that campaign. That was before she was on the school board. So really, I think almost more than anything else, that really helped save the school district and has let us continue to do what needs to be done for those students, lowering class size and bringing in materials and computers and some of the enrichment things that the state simply wasn't supporting. So,
right,
Jennifer?
And what kind of funds were we talking about? How much money did that bring in for the school district?
It brought in about $1.2 million for 5 years.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
It is. And, it's an amazing thing when you can get your community to back up your schools because they know that it's going towards the kids' education, and there's nothing more important than that.
Right. And we're seeing that over and over again here in Sonoma County, I think, which is really gratifying that, things like for the SRJC, that it was, it's not a question. We want to educate our youth, and it goes down from kindergarten on up through college. So it's very exciting.
Sonoma County's been very supportive of schools, and in our district, Cotati and Rohnert Park, 2 different measures in the last few years have received very strong support. Amy Carter just recently spent some funds from Measure D to improve technology on the campus. Want to maybe mention that?
Yeah, we're excited. In the next few weeks, we're going to be receiving 2 Google Chrome cards at the high school. And what this enables us to do is have technology immediately in the classroom for all subject matters. So we have the typical classrooms that are equipped with labs and those kind of things. But what's nice is we can deploy this technology immediately into kids' hands, and teachers are going to be able to manipulate it and utilize it in ways that heretofore were just unimaginable to us. And it's really because of the support of the community that we're able to have those tools.
Yeah, I just saw a press release from the Sonoma County Libraries that they got some bilingual sort of units that they can use that are great for kids from 2 to 8 years old, just get them used to technology and interactive learning, games like that. How important is it to have kids be able to understand technology, use it correctly, use it to help further their learning in school?
Well, at the high school, we like to remind ourselves that we're really preparing kids for jobs that currently don't even exist.
Right.
You look at the job titles that are out there in the market right now, and 2 decades ago, these weren't things that we were really thinking about. My brother's an information manager, and what even was that? We didn't know when we were in high school.
Sure.
So we have to make sure that we're equipping kids so that they're malleable, that they're feeling confident with technology, that they're able to enter the workforce and troubleshoot and solve and be familiar with the technology. So it's really pushing itself to the forefront in our minds and in education.
Mm-hmm. Is that difficult to sort of adapt the school curriculum? I mean, you have to really kind of change things up, don't you?
The answer to that is yes, but in a good way. You know, it's sort of that disruptive creativity that takes place.
Yeah.
Back to Measure D, it's allowed us to bring technology into our elementary schools. We use right now as a platform Chromebooks, which has proved to be very cost effective. Different manufacturers make them, but and we don't necessarily think that all day long at the elementary level that, you know, kids need to be pounding away on
Sure.
computers.
Right.
But there are some things that computers do very well. We have some curriculum materials, you know, Lexia, which is a way that kids can learn to read and interact with the computer, and Dreambox, which is equivalent for math. And so that's something a teacher can, given enough technology, really group kids together and customize their learning. It doesn't, you know, replace what the teacher's doing. That's the most
Right.
valuable part in the classroom, but it allows that teacher to have another tool to help teach those kids. And then 6th grade through 12th grade, that's where we really start to look at, you know, kids are going to interact with technology when they go out into the world, whether into the workplace or higher education. And so we're pursuing pretty much one-to-one computing for those grade levels. And again, it may not be that the kid's interacting with computer all day long, but they have access to it and the information that it allows.
Right, right. Now, in terms of Measure D, it's a 5-year measure. We're 2 years into it, right?
3.
3. Oh, okay. All right. So what are the plans going forward with the monies that you've got?
Well, we have two years left. The bulk of the funds over the last 3 years have gone to bringing in teachers and to work with kids and keeping our class sizes smaller. And so we anticipate that'll continue for the next 2 years. We're in discussion and we'd like to show the community that, you know, they're voting for it 3 years ago, that we've done what they wanted with the money. Part of the campaign then was saying, look, the state's cut what we have, and we want to continue to give your kids what they deserve in terms of an education. And although the state's on the right track overall fiscally, we're still not back to where we were in 2007-08.
I was going to ask that. You know,
yeah.
we're moving out of the recession, so does that mean you get your money back, or you don't?
Well, eventually, right now, and the state's plan is by the year 2020-21 that schools will be back to the full funding that they were at in 2007-08. And I'm just not sure people in the community understand that.
Wow, I had
no
they
idea.
Think,
hey, everything's great. You know, we're kind of moving out of the recession, and boy, the schools must be doing okay. And that is true. We have more funding than we had a few years ago, but we still don't have as much funding as we had in 2007-08 in real dollars.
Right. Wow. So that's got to be a real difficulty. But it's good that the community understands, at least in some realm, that the schools really need these funds. You opened up a couple of schools last year. Can you tell me about the new schools, what they're called, and how they're doing?
That was really exciting. After more than a decade where we went through of closing schools and losing students, and our enrollment declining, to have that turn around and have more students and have our enrollment grow up and be able to open schools. Last year we opened University Elementary at La Fiesta, and that's an ongoing partnership with Sonoma State University. We started small with 2 classes, and we added 2 more classes this year. The idea was to just grow that school over time. It's a project-based learning school where students really get out of the classroom and learn by doing. And we're excited that we're working with Sonoma State and they have a chance working with their professors and students to come on the campus and interact with our students.
That's great. So ed students there get to be a part of it?
And
That's
our
great.
students have gone over multiple times, even our little guys, over to Sonoma State.
Oh, neat.
Interacted over there with their students and,
That's so
and
cool.
professors. And then we also opened Technology Middle School, which is on the campus of the former Mountain Shadows Middle School. And I think more than anything else, that was really important for the community of Rohnert Park. It's one of the older schools in the district, I would guess the third after John Reed Elementary and Waldo Rohnert. So, a historical campus, over 50 years old. And to have students back on that campus is great. It's where our school district office is. So as superintendent, I get to see 11, 12, and 13-year-olds running around every day, and,
That's awesome.
and I couldn't be happier
Good energy.
about that. So,
That age is crazy. So let's talk a little bit about Measure B. Now, this just passed was it in June when it passed?
yes, June of
Okay.
2012. And whereas Measure D was a chance for us to get operating funds that the state had taken away, Measure B was a bond measure, and that's designed to improve school facilities. As I mentioned, we have campuses that are more than 50 years old, and they need ongoing maintenance and upkeep. And so we really wanted to bring our classrooms and our schools up to the 21st century level. We've already added a lot of technology infrastructure district-wide. We talked about the Chromebooks and different things. Well, that requires electrical wiring,
It
and
sure
that
does.
requires wireless. And
Right.
so every single classroom in our district is wireless. We have an access point. We have a huge broadband network going to all of our schools.
That's great.
To support this technology. And we've got some big plans. Principal at Rancho Cotati High School is here, and that's one of the first schools that is really going to have a complete makeover in 2015, 16, when the students come back to campus. It's going to look very different.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Exciting.
As Dr. Haley mentioned, it hasn't had a lot of work done in the past 50 years. I mean, internally, we've kept the structure up, but, it's a little bit of a dated building. And, we talked about the difficult financial times that we've been through as a county, as a state, nationally. And through that time, we've continued to increase our academic achievement. Our test scores continue to increase. And so we feel like there's been so much growth going on internally that it's nice to finally see our facility reflecting who we are and who we've become. So this summer, they'll be in the process of revamping the exterior, bringing it into the modern age. It's got a lot of really bright colors that are reflective of youth and energy. And,
Cool.
and so we're very excited to see that happen over the summer. So what's going to be fun for our students is they're going to leave for summer break and come back to a completely different facility.
Wow.
And that's only phase one of the project. We're going to be spending the next 4 to 5 years creating a nice gathering place for academics and for theater and for sports that's going to be kind of the hub of our school and the hub of our community. And we're just so thrilled to see such exciting times, and it comes with the support of our community. Our community believes in our schools. They invest in our schools. We have parent volunteers and, parent coaches, and it's just so fun to be at the hub of so much energy and enthusiasm for children.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be exciting for you. You're a new principal at this school. Were your expectations that, you'd have something that was a little bit malleable that you could do something with? Did you realize that you were going to have all this kind of support behind you?
Well, I knew that they were on a fabulous trajectory. I'd heard a lot of buzz in the community about the renaissance that was taking place at Rancho Cotati High School. They have fabulous instructors there. They've done great leaps in their curriculum, and they have instituted pathways for kids where they're really investing in the child's interest and making sure that they have an academic pathway that supports that and that leverages that in their education. So when the opportunity presented itself, I was so thrilled to be able to be a part of this. The momentum there is huge. Everyone is excited. Teachers and students are proud of who we are, and we feel like we're finally getting acknowledgement and credit for the real quality level of school that we are. So I'm I feel lucky every day to go to work.
You sound pretty happy.
Thrilled, actually.
Now, there is something going on at Rancho. If you want to give us some of the details, their annual crab feed. Of course, it's the perfect time of year. It is the season. Tell us about your annual crab feed coming up on January 31st.
January 31st. Tickets are about $50 a piece,
Okay.
and all money goes directly into our athletics program. We run one of the best boosters athletics program around. We're pretty known for that. And all this money goes to help student athletes. If you look at the data, if you can get a child invested in sports, athletics, music, band, any of those interests, and parallel that with their high school education, you really have a winning combination that's going to enable those kids to get diplomas and pathways to the future. So we really encourage our students to get involved in sports. This year we're launching a lacrosse team.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, one of the few in Sonoma Valley. So we really look for ways that we can engage students on that front. And we couldn't have done that. We couldn't do that work without the help of the boosters clubs.
All right, excellent. So you can find out more information and get your tickets for the annual crab feed for Rancho Cotati and silent auction. It's coming up on Saturday, January 31st. Get all the details at crpusd.org. That stands for Cotati Rohnert Park Unified School District, which you can also Google and you'll find it that way as well. So let's continue our conversation. What kinds of new programs have you got going on? We're in a new year. Everyone talks about new things going on. So what's going on for your school district?
This year, our focus has really been on implementing many of the new ideas that we've brought in the last few years and really making them stick and really making them work for students. So I wouldn't say that we have a lot of new things this year other than, you mentioned earlier that we've opened the 2 schools and expanding those and looking for the future of how we're going to accommodate more students. That's been pretty important. Continuing the work with technology, which we've touched on, and making sure it's used meaningfully. That we're not just bringing in technology for technology's sake.
Because it's pretty.
Yeah, it sounds fun, but
Right.
it has to really work with the curriculum. I just wanted to go back for a second to Rancho Cotati High School and the school spirit there. When I came to the school district now 3.5 years ago and went on the campus, one of the first things I did was go to a rally at Rancho Cotati High School, and I really had not seen high school spirit like that in quite some time. And so the students there really love their school. They love getting together. The school spirit there is great, and I do think that's very important. As Amy mentioned, that connectedness to the school is it's important. I'm going to do better in a classroom, and I'm going to relate better to that teacher if I care about my school, if I'm on a team, if I'm part of a club. There's almost a club for everything there. We also have Technology High School, and those 2 schools I think are collaborating great. The principal who was at Rancho Cotati is now the principal at Technology High School, and we started a sports program there a few years ago, and the kids have just blossomed in that. They don't win a lot necessarily,
Sure,
but they just love to compete and get out there and be with their peers, and I think it's part of the high school experience, and they have a lot of clubs there, and so that's really important in making sure that those kids and those years 14, 15, 16-year-olds, they want to belong. They want to be part of something, and so that's special.
Right. It is a time, middle school, high school, where you're trying to figure out who you are. So all those different opportunities where, oh, look, I'm really good at debate, or I'm really good at lacrosse, or whatever it is, that can help you figure out who you are, and sort of that existential thing that teens go through. We all go through that, but especially when you're a teen. I wanted to ask you, Jennifer, what role does the board play in setting the direction for the district?
Well, I'll help Jen out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how we...
She, one of the things that we, as a superintendent and as a high school principal sitting here, we want that leadership and that direction and that support from our board of trustees. We want them to set the bar high. We want them to say to challenge us to say, hey, we want schools opened, and we want better classes for students, and we want more responses from teachers, and we want them to challenge us in that way. And this, I think this board certainly has. I think they looked, a few years ago at the direction of the school district and said, we're going the wrong direction. We need to change. We need to do things differently. And so I'd say more than anything else, just that setting the direction. And we want it to be positive. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree.
Excellent. What kinds of things have you got on your agenda going forward for the...
Going forward?
Sure.
Well, there's something new that we're working on at Rancho with Amy Carter, and actually our principal over at Tech High as well is helping, where we are discussing our pathways and seeing how we can create more of a bond with our community and bring in some of the leaders from the community to come back and come into the classroom and discuss, what their job pathway has taken them to and how the kids can relate to that and put it in the real world.
Yeah, I think that's great too, because that real world application is so important.
It is.
In fact, one of the employees here at Sonoma Media Group, Mike DeWald, he is a graduate of Rancho Cotati, and unfortunately you can't get him to talk on a microphone. He's a very quiet guy, so he could maybe write something for you and someone could read it. But he went to SSU as well, so definitely a product of Sonoma County education.
That's great.
And it's nice to see people like that doing well, staying in the community, being excited about it, and
I think in the past, quite some time ago, not sure how far back, Jen may know, as a graduate of Rancho Cotati High School, but there was a radio station, I think, at one point on the campus. So who knows?
A very long time ago.
Yes. Maybe we'll bring that back.
Yeah,
that'll be one of our pathways.
That would be really fun.
Sonoma Media Group, you can sponsor it.
Sure. Well, hey, I can't put words in Lawrence Amaturo's mouth.
Well, Dennis Anderson from Hot 101.7 also graduated from Rancho Cotati.
Oh, did he? Great. Yeah. You know what? It's fun to see everybody with such strong connections to our community, to school districts, all of it. It's pretty great. So I do want to ask you a little bit about marketing and branding, because your website is fabulous.
Thank you.
I mean, really, in terms of school websites, it's intuitive. It's very easy to use. It's got lots of great information on it. How do you market the Cotati Rohnert Park Unified School District?
Well, an important part of our marketing the last 2 years has been working with Sonoma Media Group as a way to reach out to the broad community. We look at Sonoma County as our community at large. There are students who come to our schools from all over, and we think it's important that everybody know that everybody knows what's going on in our school district. And so that's been very effective. I think for us, radio has been an important part of getting our message out. Amy mentioned Renaissance, and that's one of our phrases that we use. We really feel like the school district is having a renaissance. We try to be consistent, and so with our message, we have a vision that we stick to. We do believe all students are entitled to a successful education. Our focus is learning, and we are a team. Maybe some people have heard me say that on the radio. We use it in print. We use it on our website.
Great.
Every single board agenda has that on there, so we're constantly reminded when we make decisions that that's what it's all about. It's about helping our students and keeping the focus on students and not being distracted by that. We did, you mentioned our website. We've worked very hard and to provide information for people on the website. All of our school board meetings are recorded and live streamed, and so people can see how decisions are being made and what decisions are being made.
It also seemed pretty transparent. I was able to look on it and see actual numbers and figures for Measure D, for Measure B. I was able to see those things, so that was pretty exciting too, to see all of that.
Yeah, we really want the community to know what's going on in our schools. Jennifer mentioned bringing people in, and we want people on our campuses, whether they're coming in to volunteer as part of our Pathways program or at the younger grades helping out in a classroom, or just coming for a tour. If somebody calls and says, hey, I'd like to see a campus, we'd be happy to do that. We're getting into our open enrollment period for next year and our kindergarten enrollment. We had our kinder fair.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, it's always fun. There's different kinds of kindergarten parents. You see the kindergarten parent who, their youngest child is now, or their oldest child is, just now turning 5, right. and they're young and they have all this energy and everything. Their eyes are big and wide open, and And then you see, we have some other kindergarten parents who this is their 5th one, and they've got a 16-year-old as well. And they kind of think they know it all.
How quickly can you take my child?
But yeah, we have I think a great kindergarten program district-wide. We have some fabulous kindergarten teachers and bringing students in to begin their journey. One of the things that we do pretty consistently as a district, at least 3 times a year, is we bring teachers from all over the district together, representative teachers from each school site. So we have kindergarten teachers all the way to calculus teachers getting together, and so they kind of see where the journey begins and understand that kindergarten is helping to prepare a student to graduate from high school. That's an important part of it. We just had one last week, and we actually put all of our teachers on a bus and took them around to every single school in the district.
Oh, wow.
So I think a sense of place is important to see, and we actually got off the bus in different places and took tours. But again, that connection of kindergarten all the way through 12th grade and graduation.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And then I do want to touch a little bit, because we are in sort of the season for it, a flu season. Now, a friend of mine in the Napa area, she said her child's school, 14 out of 28 kids were out.
Wow.
And that the school was kind of like a ghost town.
Wow.
We're lucky. Here in Sonoma County, in Roanoke Park and Cotati, are you seeing that? Are you seeing that kind of flu spread around this year?
Well, I haven't seen it. I'll let our school principal weigh in if she's noticed,
This time of year, you kind of, expect it. And but so far it's been pretty good. I think we've had pretty good attendance rates, and it hasn't hit us as bad as maybe some of the other areas.
Yeah. But do you do a lot of, wiping things down and having kids wash hands and all that kind of stuff as much as you can?
That is the habit of mind that every educator forms.
You have to, otherwise you're going to be sick like every week.
Exactly.
Amazing. And also I saw online you have something called an online parent survey. Can you tell me what this is?
Part of that is there was a change in the state law a couple years back. The governor implemented a new funding formula for schools. We want the governor to fund it more.
Yes.
With that said, one of the requirements is that we have what's called a local control accountability plan, LCAP. We have so many acronyms, I have to think it through carefully. And part of the LCAP, or the local control accountability plan, is reaching out to different groups, parents being an important part of that, and getting some information and some thoughts from them. So we think that's a good thing. We've done actually a number of parent surveys. One of the functionalities of our website is that we can do surveys.
Yeah.
And so we like to know what our parents are thinking. They are our customers, and we want their students to succeed in our schools, and we want to hear from them. So.
Excellent. Well, it's been a great conversation, and I really encourage you, if you haven't yet, to check out the Cotati-Roanoke Park Unified School District website. You can Google it. There's so much information there. It's really easy to navigate, and it's pretty exciting to see what our schools are doing right here in Sonoma County. Thank you to Dr. Robert Haley, the superintendent. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
To the school board president, Jennifer Wiltermuth, thank you. And also to Amy Carter, the new principal at Rancho Cotati High School.
Thanks for having us, Michelle.
This is Sonoma County